By now, we have trained the ability of inner sound imaging to some extent. Allow me to point to the statements of Bob Proctor, who often spoke about repeatedly reading or listening to the same information over and over again. The reason, he said, is that the same content always encounters new moments of attention and, moreover, a continuously more developed personality. Thus, the same information is ultimately no longer the same. Added to this, of course, is the learning effect created through reinforcement by habit as the result of practice and repetition. Without going further into logical proof, let us simply state the following. The exercises, whether from Lesson 1 or Lesson 100, can always be practiced again. And one more remark in this spirit. No one who trains pull-ups would say that they no longer need to do them because they have already understood them. In the spirit of Lessons 1 and 2, you can also try to train your hearing in everyday life. Suppose you are sitting on the subway or a train. Listen to announcements, signals, tones, and so on. Create listening windows and pause windows through the deliberate use of your attention. Create a moment of attention, mental focus, in which you consciously receive sound events, and a time window of pause or inner reproduction of the sound event you have just heard. Estimate each of these two time spans at approximately 3 to 7 seconds. Not too long, not too short. Soon you will notice that you are able to absorb sound events and mentally reproduce them with ever less effort. Eventually, this exercise will become effortless. And as soon as you enter a consciously chosen practice situation, sometimes even without deliberately choosing it, your mind will image sound events, will photograph them, will take a snapshot of the sonic environment. This is exactly the kind of inner hearing we want to cultivate. A note on absolute pitch. Incidentally, musicians and music students are often in pursuit of the special, celebrated, idolized absolute pitch. Our world is full of this glorification of so-called talent, often completely forgetting that art and artistic perception are based on years of deep engagement with the material and its components. What is frequently exaggerated today as an incomparable gift is not rarely the result of manipulative conscious staging. Liszt was an indefatigable worker of art well into old age. Just one example to remind us. What we want to reflect on first is this. Imagine that you can fully image any musical moment of 3 to 7 seconds in your mind, if you cannot already do so. You hear, you image, and if you wish, you decode your inner sound image by writing it down or playing it back. Powerful, isn't it? And it is completely irrelevant whether, in deciphering musical building blocks, you use relative or absolute pitch, where absolute in the context of hearing means nothing more than the extension of pitch memory over time. As should soon become clear if you have not already experienced it during the first exercises, both processes are involved in this snapshot technique, pitch snapshot. That is enough regarding fundamentals in this lesson. Now, let us return to concrete exercises. For Lesson 3, we remember the point as the graphic representation of a concrete pitch sound that we hear in different octaves. It is the concrete sculpture in the red room, which represents a point as a relief in depth. We also have a phonetic representation for this pitch sound in the red room. For this, we think, We can also speak about the tone or sound, by calling it mo. That is our name for Thus, is our most immediate phonetic representation, whereas mo, as a name, already represents a higher level of abstraction and meaning. With the use of names, we already enter the field of categorization, which is why mo is used more rarely in the context of pitch snapshot. With the property of naming, representation goes beyond a phoneme, and through categorization carries a kind of relational aspect within it. Although we are already confronted here with a blurred boundary between the categories sound and name, we will not dwell on this further and simply establish the following. The sound in the red room, with the concrete sculpture of a point, is called mo. We assign it the mental phonetic representation spatial imagination of sound another. Aid for mental sound imaging using PitchSnapshot should be mentioned here. Try to imagine the sound event approximately 15 to 20 centimeters, that is about 6 to 8 inches, in front of the center of your forehead, rather than inside your inner ear. Experience shows that imagining sensations in the inner ear tends to stimulate relative pitch, whereas imagining sounds in front of the forehead tends to stimulate pitch memory. Possibly, the connection of both imaginative or experiential modalities would be optimal. The temporal progression, in the sense of pitch memory, concerns an imaginative world of moving forward and seeing ahead, that is, a conception of time as front and back. In contrast, relative hearing is typically shaped by a spectator position, supported by an imagination of up and down or of something passing by on a surface, a left to right conception of time. Or, put differently, pitch memory equals immersion, pitch relation equals observation, or also pitch memory, driver's seat in a car, pitch relation, passenger seat on a train, looking out the side window, different pitches. In the first exercises, we heard the same pitch in different octaves. Now a new pitch is added, r, named re. Next, we will hear and r in random sequences. During the pauses of inner sound imaging, say to yourself inwardly or aloud the phonetic value of the sound event that was imaged, that is, or r. You may occasionally look at the video to check whether you are correct. Over time, however, you will become increasingly confident and will no longer need the video. As an intensification of the exercise, using the same video, you can write the symbols for and r on a sheet of paper as soon as the sound event occurs. The concrete sculptures of the red and yellow rooms, is represented as r, is represented as the written symbols for and r. You are now ready for the exercises in the next video. Relaxed pitch snapshot.